It is impossible that anything should be made out of nothing. No artificer can work, unless he has something to work on. But by the almighty power of God, it is not only possible that something should be made of nothing. The God of nature is not subject to the laws of nature. But in the creation, it is impossible it should be otherwise. For nothing is more injurious to the honor of the eternal mind than the supposition of eternal matter. Thus the excellency of the power is of God, and all the glory is to Him. When this work was produced, in the beginning, that is, in the beginning of time, when that clock was first set a-going, time began with the production of those beings that are measured by time. Before the beginning of time, there was none but that infinite being that inhabits eternity. Should we ask why God made the world no sooner, we should but darken counsel by words without knowledge, for how could there be sooner or later in eternity? And He did make it in the beginning of time, according to His eternal counsels before all time. The Jewish rabbis have a saying that there were 7 things which God created before the world, by which they only mean to express the excellency of these things: the law, repentance, paradise, hell, the throne of glory, the house of the sanctuary, and the name of the Messiah. But to us it is enough to say, in the beginning was the Word, John 1:1. Let us learn hence, 1. That atheism is folly. And atheists are the greatest fools in nature, for they see there is a world that could not make itself, and yet they will not own there is a God that made it. Doubtless, they are without excuse, but the God of this world has blinded their minds. 2. That God is sovereign Lord of all by an incontestable right. If He is the Creator, no doubt He is the owner and possessor of heaven and earth. 3. That with God all things are possible. And therefore happy are the people that have Him for their God, and whose help and hope stand in His name. Psalm chapter 121 verse 2 and Psalm chapter 124 verse 8. 4. That the God we serve is worthy of, and yet is exalted far above, all blessing and praise. Nehemiah chapter 9 verses 5 and 6. If He made the world, He needs not our services, nor can be benefited by them. From Acts chapter 17 verse 24 and 25. And yet He justly requires them, and deserves our praise. Revelation chapter 4 verse 11. If all is of Him, all must be to Him. From Ellicott's Commentary for English Reader's Commentary, in the beginning, not, as in John chapter 1 verse 1, from eternity, but in the beginning of this sidereal system, of which our sun, with its attendant planets, forms a part, as there never was a time when God did not exist, and as activity is an essential part of His being, from John chapter 5 verse 17, so, probably, there was never a time when worlds did not exist, and in the process of calling them into existence when and how He willed, we may well believe that God acted in accordance with the working of some universal law, of which He is Himself the author. It was natural with St. John, when placing the same words at the commencement of his Gospel, to carry back our minds to a more absolute conceivable beginning, when the work of creation had not commenced, and when in the whole universe there was only God. God in Hebrew and Elohim, a word plural in form, but joined with a verb singular, except when it refers to the false gods of the heathen, in which case it takes a verb plural. Its root meaning is strength, power, and the form Elohim is not to be regarded as a pluralis majestatis, but as embodying the effort of early human thought and feeling after the deity, and in arriving at the conclusion that the deity was one. Thus, in the name Elohim it included in one person all the powers, mights, and influences by which the world was first created and is now governed and maintained.